name is Gustav.
And my name is Clara.
And welcome to our blog.
I've read the book of Mice and Men by John Steinbeck, and it's about two men called George and Lenny that work on different ranches to make a living. And Lenny is mentally disabled, and therefore George has to take care of him. And his disability makes a lot of issues for them. For example, they get fired because Lenny touched a girl's dress in an inappropriate way due to his disability. And Lenny also kills a dog accidentally due to his disability. And on the new ranch that they work on, they get to know their colleague called Candy, and together they dream about buying a little house and small fields and animals. There was a woman on the ranch that had so soft hair, Lenny couldn't help himself from touching it. So he broke her neck accidentally. And as a consequence of that, the other men went out searching for him to kill him, but George killed him to save him from the horrible death that he would get from the other men.
Yes, so I've read The Pearl. It's about Kino, his wife Juana, and their baby Keotito. In the middle of the night, Keotito, lay in his crib, gets stung by a scorpion, and the whole village hears the baby screams, and they come they come to the Kino's house. So they rush to the doctors. The doctors won't treat him because he doesn't have the money. Kino gets very frustrated and goes to search for pearls. He finds the biggest pearl the village has ever seen. The word spreads fast that Kino has found the biggest pearl. Even the doctor pays him a visit, even though Keotito has been recovering. In the middle of the night, some thieves try to steal the pearl. Kino kills one of them in self-defense, and they have to flee from the village. They flee up the mountain and hides in the caves. 3 stalkers from the government tries to find them. They find them by Keotito's screams, and when Kinos tried to defend the family, one of the stalkers accidentally shoot Keotito, and they carry him back to the village and throw the pearl in the sea. Sexism is not that noticeable, but you can still see it sometimes when Juana leaves the house. She doesn't talk that much. She only gives nods and winks when she complies or does not feel like that's the right thing to do. She shakes her head. Yeah, but in the house she speaks freely. But yeah, how's it in your book?
In my book, there's only one woman, and she does not even have a name. They only call her Curly's wife, which I think is discriminating. And she gets sexualized by her appearance. And Steinbeck does not even write about and describe her personality, only her appearance, yes. Which I think is very discriminating.
Do you think sexism is a big issue in Sweden right now?
Sweden is one of the most equal countries in the world, but still there's a lot of problems with inequality, yes, in Sweden. For example, statistics show that women earn less money than men. What
yes.
do you think?
I think it's a larger problem in the older you get. Sure, money is a big issue, but still the way some people look at women, they catcall them on the streets. Some women are unsure going out in the dark. They keep not knives but pepper spray in their bags, and I don't think an equal society should have anything of that.
No.
So back to the book, racism. In my book, racism is portrayed by money and materialism. Um, you can see how the doctor reacts when he sees the poor village standing in front of his gate. He already know that Kino and his family doesn't have the money to pay for the treatments that he gives, so he quickly waves them away and doesn't really give a lot about it. Yes, in your book?
In my book, there are a lot of racial discriminations, and there's only one black man that lives on the farm, but he's not allowed to live with the other white men in the bunkhouse. He lives alone in his room, and he's not allowed to play cards with the other men, and therefore he gets very alone and isolated, which I think is something that is a result of the discriminations.
So racism in today's society, do you think that's a big thing?
I think there's racism in Sweden right now, but not in the same proportion as in the 1930s. For example, there are statistics that show that if you have a foreign name, it's more difficult to get a job, which I think is horrible. And what do you think?
Yeah, I think like you. It's hard to come from a foreign land and not get treated because of your color, what your name is, or how you speak. I think everything should be equal, and I think your education should speak for itself and not how you look.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, but
and the segregation.
The segregation between society, I think it's horrible that they place all the foreigners who come to this country in the same place. You don't get the chance to learn the Swedish language if you were living in my town in Landvetter, where there's almost no foreigners. So I think it would be very easy to learn the Swedish language if you live a Swedish life. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree. As the segregation is increasing, it gets harder for the immigrants to get into the society in many different ways. Like you said, learning the language and getting contact with Swedes. Yeah.
So you do think, in my book, status is a big thing. Soon as Kino finds the pearl, he becomes someone from no one. The pearl brings fortune and some fame in the village. Do you think, do you have that portrayed in your book?
No, not really, because in my book, everyone is poor, and the story takes place in the 1930s, when money was a big issue. It was during the Great Depression, and therefore many people had to leave their homes and leave their families, and people became very lonely. So in my book you don't really get to meet the rich characters, only the poor.
Yes. That was all for us, and
Yes.
thank you for listening. Goodbye.